Today I'll be showing you the pin haul from my Disneyland trip back in August of 2024. Now I know, it's been a little while since that trip, but I came across this bag of pins when I was looking through my collection for the top 10 pins video, and I figured, hey, this would be kind of fun to still show these pins. You know, it's not like they expire and I can't show them anymore. I don't have a ton in here. There's 13 pins total. And that's because I buy a lot of my pins through park pickup people as the pins release throughout the year. But we'll take a look at these pins, and then afterwards I'll do a little trip report on my Disneyland trip. So I'll tell you like where I stayed, what days I went, how the crowds were, how many steps I took, and things like that. So if you're interested in that, be sure to stick around after I show you the pins. But for right now, let's see what's in this bag. All right, so we'll start off here with a standard Disneyland Resort pen. So I always have to have these kinds of pens, and this series was new in 2024. And so this one says Disneyland Resort, and we have the castle, and then a lot of the icons. So we have the Pixar Pal Around, Carthay Circle, the Space Mountain, and Matterhorn. And we have Tinkerbell up at the top. And then we have a lot of fireworks in the night sky. Thought this was a really good design, so pick this one up, and we can see there it says 2024. And then along with this series, I think it's the same series, I got the Disneyland one and the California Adventure one. So the Disneyland one says Disneyland Resort, and we have the Mickey head here in the background, and we have the castle kind of coming out of the Mickey head. Thought that was really nice. And then for Disney California Adventure, same style, but they have Carthay Circle coming out of the Mickey ears there. So I thought these were pretty cool. So I bought one that's the entire resort, one that's Disneyland, and one that's DCA. So it was my first time at Galaxy's Edge, so I had to get a few pins for that. So this one kind of jumped out at me because I love the way it's just a few different colors, maybe 3 colors there. It says Bright Suns, and then we have, I'm not sure what building that is. Is that Doc Ondor's maybe? Looks like C-3PO's right there. Very cool pin design here. And this one, some of these Star Wars ones are gonna probably be older designs. This one is 2023. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. Oh yeah, so it still has the little Mickey head, so I think those started in 2023. And then the other one I got was this one that just says Batuu, and we have the area where the Millennium Falcon is docked. That is super cool. So we have, looks like Chewbacca down there heading towards the Falcon. And again, not too many colors, kind of like that. And this one I think is a little older, right? Yeah, 2019. So this is one of the older pin designs, probably one of the designs that were there when Galaxy's Edge opened. And then the last Galaxy's Edge pin I got is this one here. It's a hexagon shape, which I love. More hexagons, please. And this one is the Millennium Falcon again, and this one has R2-D2 going to head into the Falcon. Very nice. I like the hexagon shaped frame right there. And this one is from 2022. So all of these are open edition pins. I found that to be a lot of fun, just looking at pins and being able to pick them up and touch them and then buy them, right? Instead of always getting them online and you can't really tell what they are until you get them home. All right, so then I had to get some attraction pins because those are my favorite pins to collect. And then I saw this one, and I know this is an older pen, definitely an older style backer card, but I don't have this one in my collection. And this one's just like a solid just metal pen, and then it just has some colors down here with the Disneyland Railroad logo. Thought this one was pretty nice. Would be good on my attraction pin board. And this one, like I said, I know it's an older one. Let's see. How old is it? 2016. So this design has been around for a little while, but it's a good one. So that's why. So I got the Disneyland Railroad. And then the next one I got is Space Mountain. So this is, it says Space Mountain there, and Mickey is in the ride vehicle coming out of the tunnel here. And this one has a lot of glitter in it. pretty cool. Got a lot of glitter in the tunnel. I love the helmet that Mickey has on there too. So had to get this one. And this one is, let's see, can we see it? 23. So hard to read. 2023 for this one. So not as old as that other one, the railroad one. And then of course I had to get a Haunted Mansion one. So this one has the caretaker's dog, and we have an owl up here on a tree branch. I love this scene in the ride where you're coming down backwards on the dune buggies, and then it kind of turns a bit, and then this guy's right down there. And this one's a pin on pin. You can see the caretaker and his dog are bumped up. And this one is 2024, so this was a newer one from my trip anyway. So this one has the little diamond Mickey right there. And then I had to get one that was Cars Land. So I love Cars and Radiator Springs, but I don't have a whole lot of Cars pins. So I saw this one and figured I had to get this one. So we have Lightning and Sally, and they're underneath a Cars Land sign. It says, "Welcome to Cars Land." So super cool. And this one is 2022. So a little bit older. I know I've seen this one around online before, so I knew this wasn't super new, but it's new in my collection. And then the other attraction one I got was It's a Small World. So on my way out of It's a Small World, I saw this in the shop there and just really loved the design of this pen. So we have the facade back here, and then the clock face. Got a couple of the Small World kids there. Looks like there's a kangaroo down here on the bottom. Lots of little details and glitter and other elements in there. Really nice pen. And this one, it's got the little Mickey head, so this is a newer one too. So yeah, there you go, 2024. It's a Small World pen. So, got these 5 attraction pins to add to all my other attraction pins. So then I had to get a random Maleficent pen. I do collect a lot of Maleficent pens, especially in dragon form. And this was a series that came out, I think, in 2024. And I didn't really love the series. It's all very shiny, but I thought this one looked pretty cool. Some of the other ones I was like, but this one I decided to pick up. Kind of hard to see here on camera, it's so shiny, but you have the Maleficent dragon. She's got her purple belly there. You can see silver teeth right there. And this one, I believe, was a 2024, I think, if we can even read it. Yeah, I think that says 2024. It's got the little Mickey head on it. So I thought that one was pretty cool, so I decided to pick that up. And then the last pen that I got, I had to get a dated pen since I was there in 2024. You have to pick up a 2024 pen. So they had a lot of different ones, but they were all the same type of style. It all had like a pinks and blues and yellows and greens and stuff. And I thought this one seemed to be the best. I usually lean towards ones with the castle, and so that's why I got this one here. So this one says the happiest place on earth, and then we have the castle in the background, and then Mickey and Minnie are standing on the sides of a big 2024 sign right there, filled with glitter, and then it says Disneyland Resort on the bottom. Oh, and there's Tinkerbell up on the top. Oh, and I see other things. See, I didn't see this until I got it closer. So I see Space Mountain. We have the, I don't know if that's the Fun Wheel, Pixar Pal Around, or if that's a firework. There's Carthay Circle. Is that Incredicoaster? Almost looks like the outline to Incredicoaster. Not sure. But yeah, I thought this pen was pretty cool. So those were the pins I bought on my Disneyland trip in August of 2024. Now that really wasn't all the pins I bought, because I bought a ton of the 2024 hidden Disney pins while I was there. And I think I was only 4 pins away for completing the collection at the end of my trip. So I was able to buy those 4 pins online, and I did complete the collection. I have it all back here. So I'll do a complete collection video on those at some point. So get a close-up look of those. And then I also did an unboxing of the 2024 dated mystery pens, and I did end up completing those. Those are right back here. And that was a lot of fun because I did the unboxing video at DCA. So I'm used to doing it here in this room, and to actually do the unboxing in the parks, that was pretty cool. So I thought that was a lot of fun. All right, so those were the pins, and for those who are interested in my Disneyland trip report, if you didn't know, I do live up in the Pacific Northwest, so I can't just hop in my car and go to Disneyland. I mean, I guess I could. I could hop in the car and drive to Disneyland, but it would be 19 to 20 hour drive, without stopping. I do think about it a lot because Interstate 5 or I-5 or the 5, whatever you want to call it, goes, Canada to Mexico. So anytime I'm on I-5 going south, I do think in my mind, like, man, if I just stay on this road for another 20 hours, I'll be at Disneyland. So it's just, I think about it, but it's not really a realistic option. So the last time my family and I were at Disneyland was May 27th, 2019. So that is a big gap. That's a little over 5 years between that trip and then this August 2024 trip that I'm talking about now. So a lot happened during that time. Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opened up May 31st, 2019. So that was a Friday. Our last day of our trip was that Monday. So we missed the Galaxy's Edge opening by 4 days. So I remember eating lunch at the Hungry Bear restaurant, looking down and watching cast members go to their cast member preview at Galaxy's Edge through that back entrance. So I was super jealous. I wanted to jump down there and be like, hey, I'm with them. But wasn't a super huge deal because we were planning on coming back the summer of 2020 to check out Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. But yeah, we all know how that year ended up, so that didn't happen. And some of the other things that were new to us during that 5-year gap were Avengers Campus. So we had the Spider-Man ride in Avengers Campus and the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So we had quite a few new attractions to check out on this trip. So that was pretty cool. So we were in the parks from Thursday, August 15th through Monday, August 19th. So we had 5-day park hopper tickets. So that was 3 full days and then 2 half days. So we had a half day at the start of our trip and a half day at the end of our trip. So we took an early flight out on that Thursday into John Wayne. So we got to John Wayne Airport, I think around 11, maybe 10:30. And we had a ride share to the hotel. And of course, at that time, our room wasn't ready yet. So we had them hold our bags and then we ran over to Disneyland. I think we got there around noon maybe. So it was pretty good timing. We had most of the day. We missed the morning, but we did have most of the day. So on this trip, we stayed at the Fairfield Hotel on Harbor Boulevard. So this was the first time we stayed there, and I thought it was great. I loved it. And it's super close. It's actually the closest hotel we've stayed at to the parks before. And that was important this trip because for this trip, it was the first time we were going to take that afternoon break that so many people talk about, right? So I've never done that before because I've always thought, why would I take a break when I could be in Disneyland, right? So, but the older I get, if I'm gonna be there at rope drop and then stay till park closing, I'm going to need a few hours of a break just to get off my feet. And that's what we did, and it worked really well. We took a break mostly around, I'd say about 1:30 to 3:30 or maybe 2 to 4, just right in that mid-afternoon time frame, and it was great. You get to rest your feet and you feel refreshed for that last bit up until park closing. So it was super fun to be back at Disneyland after 5 years, and it was great to start our trip in the middle of a day. We've never done that before. Usually we arrive like at 3 p.m. or something, and then we just hang around in downtown Disney, and then the next morning is our day one. But 2 reasons that I liked about having this half day at the beginning of our trip is, one, when you go into the parks for the first time of your trip, there's usually a little bit of extra stuff you have to do. Like they take your picture, at least back last year, they took your picture of each person in your group. Some little things like that, and it delays you a little bit, and it was much easier to do that at noon than at 7 or 7:30 when you have everybody trying to get through those gates to get to rope drop. And then the other thing that was super nice about it is since it was a half day at the beginning of our trip, it just kind of felt like bonus time, right? And we already missed rope drop, so that, magic hour there, or golden hour, whatever you call it, from 8 to 10, where you get on tons of rides. We already missed that. So we had no ride strategy on this first day. So we just got in the parks and just enjoyed, the sights and the sounds, and seeing the castle for the first time in 5 years, and smelling the water on Pirates of the Caribbean for the first time in 5 years. So there was just no strategy, and it was just really easygoing experience to, be welcomed back to the parks after this 5-year break. So I would definitely do that again. So as far as the new attractions go, we experienced Star Wars Galaxy's Edge for the first time, and that was incredible. I mean, it looked like we were on some different desert planet or something. It was super cool. Now, I do, of course, have issues with some of the design choices they made in that land, but I'm not going to go into all that right here because it doesn't change the fact that it looks amazing, right? The Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run was better than I expected. I was kind of just expecting the Star Tours kind of thing, but I actually thought that was a lot of fun. Now, it is a little bit more fun if you are one of the pilots versus, the engineer or the weapons where you just kind of hitting the buttons. But I thought it was fun. We went on it twice in our trip, and it's a ride that I would go on every time I visit the parks now. Rise of the Resistance was just amazing. That ride was so cool. I've seen a lot of videos of it, so I've seen things like the Stormtrooper room and thought, oh wow, that looks pretty cool. But when you're there in person and you walk into that room, I was just like, whoa, look at this. And I wanted to just spend 20 minutes taking pictures and stuff, but the cast members are like, go. So it's like, oh well. But yeah, that ride was great. We ended up going on it twice, well, kind of 3 times, but we went on it 3 times, but 1/3 time, it broke down right when we were the next group to get separated into groups in the hallway. So all of those groups in the hallway went on their ride vehicles, and we were next in, and then that's when it broke down. And it was late at night, so they couldn't get it going again. So we missed out on that, but that was still fun. We went on it twice, tried to get on it 3 times, so that was great. Avengers Campus, that was pretty cool too, but it doesn't quite compare to a Star Wars Galaxy's Edge or Radiator Springs, because it's mostly just buildings, like city buildings, they look nice. It's kind of cool, and some of the groundwork looks really cool too, and it was fun to see some of the Marvel characters around there. So I liked it. I liked Avengers Campus. The Spider-Man attraction, that was okay. It was kind of like Toy Story Midway Mania with updated technology. That's kind of how I thought it was. So instead of grabbing the little ball on the string and shooting the darts at the targets, you're shooting webs with your hands. So it became kind of a workout, right? When you're like this for 5 minutes shooting all the spider bots. But it was fun to experience, but we only went on that one time in our trip. I think it was kind of one of those things where if we wanted to do the wait in line, we would rather wait in line and do the Incredicoaster multiple times instead of the Spider-Man attraction. But I thought it was fun. I'd go on it every trip, but maybe like this one, maybe just once per trip, unless if I could walk right on. And then the other new one was Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. And that one, so many people told me so many amazing things about it, right? So my expectations with that one were really high, and it didn't quite meet my expectations. I think I set them a little too high, but part of it, I think it was me, not them. So when we went on that for the first time, I think my entire family was hungry and tired, and that's not a good combination to have for a new ride experience. So all of us liked the ride. We loved how it looked. It was just, the visuals are so cool, right? But that was the only time we went on the ride. And there's a couple of things with that. Like I said, we were tired and hungry, so we came away with probably a less good impression that we probably would have had if we weren't tired and hungry. And then the other thing is my family's never been one to go to Toontown. So it might sound dumb, but we kind of forgot it was there because we just never go to Toontown. And it's like, oh yeah, now there's this good ride back there. And then the times where we did think about it, it was too late for fast passes or anything. And then the line, it was like 40 minutes or whatever. And we're like, nah, we're not gonna do that. But I definitely want to go back and go on that one again and give it a little bit of a, little bit more fair experience there. Maybe grab a churro before I go on there so I'm not hungry anyway. So the biggest negatives with any Disney park trip are usually ride closures and crowds, right? So the rides that were closed on our trip were Space Mountain, the Disneyland Railroad, the monorail, and then the entire Critter Country. So Tiana's Bayou Adventure was still being built. Winnie the Pooh was closed, the Hungry Bear was closed, and then the Hungry Bear Path to Galaxy's Edge was closed. So we couldn't do any of that stuff. The one that kind of hurt us the most was Space Mountain because my family and I love Space Mountain, so we haven't been on that in over 5 years. We really wanted to go on it, but it was closed at that time. And the other bummer part there was Space Mountain is a lot of people's rope drop strategy. So that rope drops and you have so many people go right over to Space Mountain. A lot of people go to Peter Pan or Fantasyland, and a lot of people go to Rise of the Resistance. But with Space Mountain being closed, no one was going right. So everybody was going this way too and filling up like Indiana Jones and Pirates and Big Thunder. So it kind of changed rope drop a little bit. So I really wish Space Mountain was there just so we could go on it and also to eat some people, right? Because that line is long and it just takes people over there. And then the other one that was kind of a bummer was the Disneyland Railroad. That's one of my favorite rides to go on when I'm just really tired. Like Pirates is a good one because it's really long, but the train is great because you just go on the train, you ride around, or maybe ride around twice. I remember when I was a little kid that we would be heading out at night and all the kids were, dead tired, but we're like, I don't want to go yet. And so then we would always end up going on the train and we'd go like once around or twice around or, by that time we're practically asleep, and then we'd head out to the parking lot, which was DCA at that time. So the crowd levels on our trip weren't that bad at all. On our first day, which was Thursday, I don't remember if it was crowded or not because we were so excited to be back after a 5-year break that I don't think any of us cared if it was crowded on that day. We were, just enjoying the sights and the sounds and being back at Disneyland, that we weren't paying attention to the crowds. Friday was a lot less crowded than I thought. I thought Friday was going to be one of our more crowded days, but it wasn't. It wasn't bad at all, and we got on a lot of rides, and we were surprised how many rides we got on during that day. And then Saturday and Sunday, those were great. Saturday was less than Friday, and then Sunday was our best day. That day just really didn't have a lot of people. And then when it got to the evening, around 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, it just kind of emptied out. So we got on a lot of rides Sunday night. That was the night we ended up walking on Rise of the Resistance. We walked on down the standby line, never stopped. We walked all the way onto the first transport vehicle. That's how dead it was that night. It was great, but that was the time where the ride broke down on us, so we never got to go on it. So it ended up being kind of a waste of time, but it was fun to experience, walking all the way through that line. So that was cool. And then Monday, let's talk about Monday. So Monday was insane. I mean, I knew from reading all the crowd stuff, I knew Mondays are the worst. But I've been to Disneyland quite a bit in my life, and I've never seen it that crowded. That's insane. It's just a Monday in August, and the kids are all back to school down in Southern California at that time too. But that was just crazy. I mean, the rope drop, that 8 to 10 o'clock, we still did pretty good. We could tell it was busier than the rest of our days. But we still got on some rides. But once it got to about 11 o'clock, all of us were like, what is this? You'd step out into the walkways and it was just, people everywhere. And it really took away the fun. It probably wouldn't have been as bad as if it was like our day one or something. But since it was our 5th day, we were, it was like bonus day anyway. So we were approaching that, kind of being done, like, okay, I'm ready to go. So we went on our few rides that we wanted to get on one last time, and then maybe buy some merchandise that we've been eyeing for the trip. And then I think we just kind of hung out at a table in Tomorrowland. Since Space Mountain wasn't opened, Tomorrowland was kind of dead, so we had a table way out in Tomorrowland somewhere, and I think we just kind of sat there for an hour or so instead of going to the airport, because our flight was later that evening, and I think we needed to leave by 4. So instead of going to the airport and sitting there, we just sat in Tomorrowland for an hour and just, you know, waited our time there and then headed to the airport. So as far as our steps, or my steps anyway, I do wear a, you know, fitness tracker here. You probably see it in my unboxing videos when it turns on and off here. So my step goal, so on Thursday, so I always try to get that 10,000 steps, which is not a problem when you're at Disneyland. On Thursday, I got 25,000 steps, and that does include, you know, the airport. And then on Friday, I got 25,000 steps. So I think what happened there is Friday was the first day we took that afternoon break, which was about 2 hours, and then the flight was about 2 hours. So Thursday's flight and then Friday's break kind of canceled each other out. Saturday, we did a lot more walking. I got 26,000 steps, almost 27,000 steps on Saturday. And then on Sunday, I got over 30,000 steps. So that day, what we did on Sunday, we kind of considered that our last day. So we kind of pretended that Monday, we knew it was going to be crowded. So we figured Monday, let's just ignore Monday and let's pretend Sunday's our last day. So we really raced around and did everything we wanted to do on Sunday. So that's why that day was 30,000. And then Monday, we were only there, like I said, till about 3 o'clock or so, or 4 o'clock. And so that day I had 17,000 steps. So overall, that is a lot of steps, which is good because you're eating a lot of like treats and sweets and calories. And so it's good that you walk around like that because you burn off all those calories. So anyway, if you're still watching this, I appreciate you watching it. I know I'm just sitting here babbling about Disneyland, which I can do for hours, but thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.